All right, we are live.
Yippee!
Hello, gamers. Now,
Internet.
gamers, I heard your complaints last week about the chat. I heard the complaints. Okay, so now the chat's gonna look nicer. Okay, now the chat's gonna be better. It's gonna appear like there's nothing right now, but when we get any messages now, there's just gonna be a nicer little thing that pops up. All right, it'll be nice.
Oh, yes, this is a better background.
We'll be the judge of that.
Yeah, well, you do that. You do that. You judge it, and you tell me that I'm a base streamer. Okay, you do that. You do that. Anyways,
Yeah, but what do you have to begin with? Even if that was correct.
sorry. Are you speaking? Are you speaking right now? I'm hearing words, and I need you to understand that whatever meme you're trying to say right now, it's not gonna stop me. Okay, it's not gonna stop me from being an amazing streamer. None of it's gonna stop me. Okay, I'm a god.
I like most of the presentation. You should probably change the font.
No, fuck you. You're wrong. I don't know what else to tell you. Anyways, welcome everybody. It looks like we have everybody except Koda, who we'll just assume is probably not going to make it this week. And let me just make sure my posts everywhere are good.
Can't believe Coda stole Andy's bit.
Happens. Get pinged, idiot. Get posted about, idiot. Alright, we should have everything ready to go. Is everybody here? Are microphones working?
No.
Oh, based. Okay. I didn't hear a voice, but I heard a creaking of a chair, so I'm assuming that's a good enough test of the mic as any.
Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, was
You're
that
good.
you? Okay.
It was. You're good. You're good, though. Alright. Let us begin. Put this over here. Pull this over here. And then I'll take off pre-show and we can begin.
A little bit of that.
Yes, a little bit everything. Okay? A little bit everything. Also, I just realized you sent the message based or cringe chat. The answer's based, okay? It's a based chat UI, okay? It's based.
I don't know.
You didn't even see it. You wouldn't know.
I saw it. I'm here.
A likely story. Do you even have eyes? Can you even read?
I do. I understand me being a Yu-Gi-Oh player should prevent me from doing that, but no, I can.
Oh, well, alright. And I also need this thing up, and then we're ready to go.
Can you prove it?
Am I proving again?
I think that's enough.
I think that answers that question.
Yeah.
Great job, everyone.
Task
I-
failed
I-
successfully.
Yippee!
But only sometimes.
Okay. Do this over here. Alright, ready to go? We're gonna start it now. Welcome everybody to another exciting week of the Anime Book Club here on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick all at the same time. You can find the links to all these things at wolfborg.com. We are here to continue our discussion of Sailor Moon. We're almost done with the series, and here we wrapped up the latest arc that we had going on. So, before we get into
Clown art.
the discussions for this volume, let's introduce our guests here for this week, starting in alphabetical order as usual. Aztec, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Aztec. Y'all should watch Cocoon. It's sad.
It was a sad anime for us to end on last night during the seasonal watching. But
Look, it
was
was.
good.
I think it was the
good.
one good thing from that day. Actually, I don't remember anything else being good.
I mean, I thought the ballpark one was cute.
Oh, yeah,
I don't
Nothing
think
else
it's-
that day was good.
Okay, my bad.
I
Take it
thought the
back.
ballpark one was cute. I don't think I'll remember it, but I thought it was cute. I don't know. Anyways,
You're gonna forget in a week, chap, aren't you?
Listen, maybe. That depends. Anyways, thank you so much for that, Aztec. Next up, Sailor Arimia. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Marimium. I'm Ari. I like shonen shit. I don't have anything to recommend this week.
Wow.
I know, shocker.
Do you have anything?
Just go read Umineko.
Do you have any non-recommendations?
It's true. You
Stay
should.
away from.
Stay away from the dead moon. No, I'm kidding.
Oh boy.
Nah, that's about it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. Next up, Sailor Galaxy. Introduce yourself.
Hi, that's me. I'm Marianne or Anne, whichever you prefer.
Wait, you're way far
yeah,
away
you
from your
are.
mic.
Oh, son of a bitch.
I can hear the creaking.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yes.
I had turned you down a ton from before, and then I was like, wait a minute, did I do it too low? What's going on? Anyways, you're good now.
Yeah, sorry, apparently my mic keeps getting unplugged.
Oh, jeez.
It's fine, I'll deal with it later.
All right.
Recommendations. I don't know. I watched Blue Velvet today. That was good.
All right. Well, go check that out if you are interested in that. Next up, Sailor Shino. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Sino. My recommendation for this week is She Loves to Cook and She Loves to Eat. Very cute,
Ooh,
cooking,
base.
very manga.
Base.
Very good live action as well. I recommend watching the live action adaptation too.
The live action version.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. Next up, Shadow Man. Introduce yourself.
I'm Show. The thing I don't recommend is Legend of Camel on the PS2. It was April Fool's meme game. It didn't work. It broke halfway through.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Well, thank you so much
It
for
was
that.
like a 6-day game, so you know.
Fair. Thank you so much for that, Shadow. Last but not least, me, Tuxedo Borg, aka Wolfborg, aka Chaplain, aka the best anime ever. Okay,
English
you
chap.
heard that all
Speak it.
properly at the first time. Okay, I recommend being able to speak properly. That's probably what I would recommend the most. It's
Yeah, you
probably
won't fair.
it's probably a good
True.
bit of advice. I would probably also recommend. Did I recommend Trinity 7 yet? Because if I didn't, I read the first volume of that, and that was pretty good. So I would recommend Trinity 7 so far from what I read of the beginning of the manga. It was pretty nice. It was fun.
Yay.
Was it Trinity or is it 7?
Yes. All right. So that's what we got here for this week. Let's begin our discussion of Sailor Moon volumes 9 and 10. The end of the Dead Moon circus dream memes. We're done with these things. Where were the clowns? This is the first question. Where were they?
Good question.
Where were they?
The clown was everybody expecting there to be clowns.
Literally.
No. Wait, I figured out where the clowns were expecting them.
Yeah, that's what he just. Yeah.
I think that's what I said. Did I phrase that weird?
Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
that's what
Listen, last week I was on record saying I want this to end with an epic final battle at the circus. This did not happen. They did go to the circus several times, fell for several traps by them, still wondered for like half of the volumes if the Dead Moon Circus was involved with the evil doings somehow, whether they're the enemy or not. And I'm like, how have you not? What are you?
Can you even call half of them traps at this point?
It's literally just an invitation to Dead Circus Entertainment or whatever, like Dead Moon Entertainment. Come be an idol for us. She immediately goes to it and doesn't think it's a trap until one of them are like, hey, wait a minute, that sounds very suspicious. And she's like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm still going. I'll just deal with them myself. It's like, oh, well.
Mikoto, on her way back from the circus that they're staking out, talks to somebody who is from the circus, and they're like, hey, you want this ring? Hell yeah, I want this ring.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, you know, there was several people were just being given gifts that ended up being traps. There was Ami was given a fish. The ring. I thought there was another gift, but I don't remember.
It's like, goddamn, no wonder the moon fell.
Oh god, listen.
I don't like. I have so many questions. Like, it could be you could say that it is on us for expecting there to be clowns when it's a circus, considering some circuses it's like the trapeze artists, you've got the like lion
Sure.
tamers, there's more things than just clowns. Except
There was none of that.
how did they introduce them?
They flew.
Usagi and Mamoru look at the clouds and have visions of clowns looking down at them
Yeah.
from the clouds.
It would be one thing, okay, if there was just not a lot of clowns, or if there was one clown or whatever. There was, not only were there no clowns, there was no other real circus people other than the Amazonians.
Exactly.
Like, it was weird. It was wild. Why did we have it be a circus if it was just the Amazonians? I don't understand.
I did screenshot it yesterday. There was a single clown at the circus.
Oh,
And
shit.
it looked like shit. I
Damn.
posted it in spoiler chat yesterday. Like, it just looks bad. Like, there's a lot of different clown archetypes and stuff. There's a lot of different ways that clowns can dress depending on the archetypes. You know, the two most famous ones probably being the Piero and the Harlequin.
Right.
The Piero is like the monochrome, almost mime-looking type usually, sad. And then the Harlequin is the very bright, vibrant, like checkered pattern one. But there's a lot of different variations you can do. There's not really many ways to do one wrong, except here. It just looks. It's just fascinating how bland this circus looks. Like everyone is like cheering about it and stuff, and it's like this circus looks like shit. It looks like a roadside carnival. Like why are y'all? What is there to do here?
They try to act like it has taken
event.
over an entire district of the town or whatever, and it's I don't know.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, we have to go to this event. Everyone's going to this tent, and like as soon as they get into the tent, they're all being like brainwashed. It's like, well, what was the event going to be? Like, are we gonna have like any trapeze artists, like a animal tamer? Are we gonna have like
you are very entertained right now. Ooh.
Like what?
Listen.
What is her thought process with this?
Listen, okay, it's all about the dreams and the lemurs, and yeah, it's a whole thing. All right, the circus is here to find out their dreams and then sap away their energy, and then if they're the sailor soldiers specifically, try to turn those dreams against them and make them into nightmares. I guess they
have to get a job.
Yeah. Well, I remember.
And then furthermore.
Yeah.
No, go on.
I was just gonna say, I remember like they go to the circus for like the first time as a group, and they're like more concerned about the fact that the seats are like $1,000 for like this one section than like anything else. Yeah. They went several days.
Like, what? Are y'all gonna like? Do y'all have a plan of attack or something? Like y'all just keep showing up, and then things happen. Like you're not really.
They were just like
doing anything.
They were just like, we know that
being done to you.
They specifically kept going, knowing that they were brainwashing the people at the event, but it wasn't doing it to them. It was just making them a little dizzy. So surely, if we go multiple times, this will have no effect on us whatsoever. And I'm like, I don't know if you know the circus is brainwashing people, you probably shouldn't go to the performance, or you should put a stop to the performance before you get brainwashed. I don't fucking know. That's a bold assumption, but listen. And then several of them, they didn't get brainwashed. They just got tricked with items that like allowed them easier access to manipulate their dreams or whatever. But it's like, bro, they're up to no good. You've been to their place several times and you know that they're up to no good. What are you doing? I don't listen. There's a lot of
here's the present. Ignore the fuse hanging out of it.
Look. The sailor soldiers, they're not one for plans, okay? We just kind of go in and see what happens.
It's a weird thing because I don't know. Naoko Takeuchi, I don't know what it is, but we plan out villains of the week. We don't really consider the obvious choices that these characters should make. I don't know if it's just supposed to be a whole other teenager, so maybe they just wouldn't understand the best ways to handle these things or what, but I don't know. I feel like there's a certain level that I can't listen, I was already like weirded out by the horse invading our dreams that was happening, and now it's just we'll just keep going to the Dead Moon Circus. That's definitely not sus at all, and we'll go multiple times, even though we know it's sus. But maybe it's not. I don't know. Oh,
Maybe
one of them
this
wants
time
to.
it'll be different.
Yeah, maybe it'll be different.
Also, still cannot draw a horse to save her life.
Listen, eventually he stopped being a horse for a bit, which was something. But I'm gonna be honest, the whole Helios side of this stuff, I was like, it served really no purpose, the Helios stuff, except to give Chibiusa a love interest that is not her literal father. I'm like, oh, all right, well.
Honestly, thank God.
I was thankful that we at least had a moment in these volumes where they were like, wait a minute, maybe I shouldn't have a crush on my dad. Maybe that's kind of wrong. we did that for
weird.
like a moment.
The old guy, I know. It's like, really?
Like, Jesus.
He's the only named male character for the last 50 chapters.
I was like, it actually did surprise me, the horse stuff. She was actually capable of surprising me with it, because I was sure the horse was evil.
I was
And he
absolutely
wasn't.
sure. But then, yeah, it was like the Dead Moon Circus had this Pegasus captured, but it kept like astral projecting itself into their dreams to communicate with them, I guess. And the Dead Moon Circus people knew that the horse kept doing that. So I'm like thinking like, okay, so the Dead Moon Circus is going to be using the horse doing that stuff for their own benefit. That had no implication on anything. It was just a thing the horse could do to fight back against him. So I'm like, oh, well, all right. So the horse could have been used by the bad guys without the horse even realizing, or like against the horse's will. And then the horse, that just never became a thing. And then the horse just showed up and was like, "Oh, Chibiusa, I will protect you no matter what, even if you weren't the young lady that I was looking for all of this stuff." And it's like, okay, well, again, only purpose was to, one, I guess, be a love interest for Chibiusa that's not her literal dad, and then two, try to give more backstory to Tuxedo Mask as Endymion.
Yep.
To just be like, yeah, so you were the prince of the Earth Kingdom Secret Society. There's a society there's a kingdom within the Earth's soul called Elysion, and this is where Helios is from, and Endymion is also from this kingdom. That was kind of where I was kind of not sure. It sounded like Elysion was not a thing Endymion was associated with before, but it was protecting the Earth Kingdom in secret, including Endymion.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking to myself, so we're gonna go to Elysian, right? We're gonna like see a new setting, right? This is where this is going. And I think towards the end they said we have to go to Elysian for something, and I think they went into like one room that was like for their shrine or something like that. It had like several of their priestesses or something in like crystal things or whatever, I guess, like imprisoned or something like that. And I think that was the extent of all we saw of Elysian.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so then that didn't really mean. I was thinking when I was reading this, I was thinking like, okay, so the last two volumes are going to be more of this arc. No, this wrapped up. We have 2 volumes of like something else after this, it seems, because this is just done.
I'm so tired of this. This formula. I hate to say it, but I'm glad that Sailor Moon is wrapping up. I love Usagi. I love the characters, but I'm so tired of this 2-volume format we've got. And it's just like it. I was honestly going into this expecting more of a superhero format where they're fighting a lot of like kind of petty criminals, kind of just people in their city who end up becoming villains, and not the new cosmic threat of the week.
It's
but
like the
I'm
5th
the real
person who
cosmic
lives on the
threat.
moon
Oh,
we didn't know about.
I'm the universal threat. No, I'm the infinitesimal threat. Like at some point we can't just keep like scaling these up even more. Like,
So like
can't they just fight like a regular villain?
I can be fine with power scaling with some shows, like Dragon Ball does it, but like the difference being is that they at least try to do different backstories with these characters these times. Here, they're like all the same. It's always just, I am from this moon kingdom that has been, we hate the White Moon Kingdom for reasons, and we are trying to find the new MacGuffin crystal. We need to find the new MacGuffin crystal. Okay, that's associated with our group. Okay, we will find that crystal, and then we will defeat the White Moon Kingdom, and we will do this with our villains of the week. And then when those don't work, we have our big bad. And this has been the formula. Now here, at least, I will say, the good thing at least was we didn't have too many villains of the week, so we actually got to have character development for our soldiers for some chapters, which was more in depth than the ones that we had before when they tried to do that. So I at least appreciated that. But yeah, still, yeah.
The designs for this week were shit.
I'll
just say it.
Yeah.
I hate these 4 main designs. They just don't look good.
Yeah, it was.
I don't like them.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna change after the reveal.
Yes. I was hoping for
And they
that.
didn't.
I was hoping for that. Honestly, I just kind of, I had hoped, because we'd had the first volume of this last week, so I was like, okay, well, this is just the first group of them, so obviously there'll be more after these are like the tutorial, these are like the tutorial villains of the week for this group. They'll be done in like 2 chapters. You know, because we had that before, the tutorial, they had like 4 people attack before, and then there's the real 4, the people controlling those 4 attack or whatever. Here, it was just, no, we're it, and then the big bad will just swoop in and try to do things after we fail. Not only was it that, but then afterwards we turned them into sailor soldiers in the end. What happened? What was there? Because they're like, they are actually the asteroids. Wait. Okay. I don't understand. Are they gonna come back again in the next 2 volumes? Why did we do that? Okay.
Because Chibi Usa needs her support too. Just ignore the fact that she does not belong from this time period.
True.
And is a person from, what is it, 3,000 or 30,000 years in the future?
They're from the 30th century, I think. So yeah.
X amount of years in the future.
Sure.
She does not belong here. Just ignore that. We're gonna give her everything she needs to keep her comfy here for some reason.
Based.
Yeah.
Well, I could probably say I was not a huge fan of this arc. Looking at the villains of the arc itself, again, I was more of a fan of us getting more like bigger chapter developments of the characters as they were being like attacked with them, because here it was more impactful than the development we had before, where it was like more so a couple throwaway lines about something about them. Like I think in the last one was where we found out like some throwaway line about Mercury's parents being divorced or whatever, and things like that. Here, they delves more into how they experience these things at home, what they think about concepts. Because here, at least, it's more themed around, because the whole arc is themed around dreams. Mostly because the bad guys want to utilize these people's dreams to either turn them into nightmares to fuel their energy, or to use their dreams as weaknesses for them, and then to take over them and to make them potentially part of the Dead Moon Circus. Which is interesting, if we, have interesting villains to like carry that out, I think, but we didn't really here, but that's whatever. Let's talk about
there are a lot of like parts of this that were good. You've got the sailor development, you've got the specific focus on the dreams and each of the girls having a dream, even if some of them are a bit frivolous. I'm sorry, Makoto. But like then you've got the other parts where it's like, what is this villain trope? Why are we doing the same thing again with like no changes really to the formula? Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Listen, it's tricky. I don't know. Maybe this is just how manga was at the time. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe this is just what was expected. I don't listen. That being said, okay, in my opinion, Naoko Takeuchi did not sleep when it came to the art of this still. I think this arc, specifically in a lot of the action shots and for the art of our sailor soldiers, was very good. It just wasn't that great when it came to the new villains for their designs.
The art was good, the designs were not.
Yeah.
You can argue the legality and ethics of just taking the runway models for your character designs, but boy howdy should she have stuck to that for this arc.
Damn.
I do not know if these Amazonesses were inspired by runway designs. I really doubt it, considering their hairstyles, and just general outfits just not looking good. They might have been. Pieces of them probably were at some point, but just in general, they just pale in comparison to the previous designs that we've had.
Right.
Like, you're not going to have the circus be clowns despite already establishing their clowns. At least give us good designs. You know,
Yeah.
you can't even give us solid designs.
Yeah, well, it's yeah. There's not much you can do with that. I don't think for me when I'm like reading this and I'm just like, okay, well, we have these 3 new soldiers, the tiger, the fish, and I don't even remember what the third one was, but we got rid of it eventually, okay? For the mini tricksters they had. Yeah, oh yeah, it was a bird of some kind. I think. I don't remember. Maybe it was a hawk. Anyways, we had several of our team from the members of the core team here get specifically targeted and have an entire chapter dedicated to their dreams each time. So we got to explore a little bit of those. Started with Ami, and Ami, Sailor Mercury. If I remember, I think it was something like, I want to become a doctor, but also I don't know if that's actually what I want. What was it? It was like, because we saw a lot of scenes with her at home and how her mom's like, you're always home alone because I'm busy with work or whatever. I feel bad for it, but you know, your father just kind of left to go be a painter somewhere, and he's just living in a forest doing that stuff. So you know, you're doing your best here, and she's like, what if I get a fish? What if I just go get a fish? And then she gets a fish, and then the fish is fucked up evil fish that's trying to take her dreams. It was, I'm trying to remember it. It was yeah, her dreams were just thinking about like her parents and like what's gonna happen when Sailor Moon, Tuxedo Mask, and Chibi Usa like all just decide they don't need her anymore. She feels like she's like kind of only really useful to the team. This is a recurring thing for a couple of them, I think, where they think like my only purpose is to be a part of this team, and if for some reason they decide they don't need me, I feel like I will be useless and my life will have no meaning. And I think it was more apparent for people for the whose was it? Sailor Venus, for her thing, because for her it was like, I am supposed to be the leader, and so if I cannot transform right now, so that one kind of confused me. Let me clarify this. So each of these girls at some point found themselves unable to transform, but Sailor Venus seemed like she was unable to transform for longer, or just kept it a secret or something.
I think it was specifically they were unable to transform once the Black Moon or the Dead Moon Circus came in, and once they each resolved their crisis by facing off against them, they were able to transform. But because Venus's was last, she wasn't able to because she hadn't had the crisis yet.
Right. And she felt specifically bad for it.
Have it be that
Sailor Venus hasn't been able to transform since the attack from the previous arc.
Right, okay. Yeah, and like she felt especially bad for it because if she does view herself as the leader still, then she doesn't want to show any weakness. So she does not want to reveal to everybody else that she cannot transform right now until the moment comes where it's like there's a crisis happening, you have to transform now or else. And then she tries to do it, still doesn't work. Went out of her way when she cannot transform to put herself into danger knowingly. Hers was, I think, the wildest of the stories, I think, because hers was like, I cannot transform right now. I feel like I am useless. So I will instead go to the Dead Moon Circus. Oh, now they're like trying to recruit people to be idols for them. I'm just going to do that. You know, it's what I always wanted to be. Okay, this is very clearly sus because the other members of our group have told me that this is sus. I'm still going to go alone. Now it is a survival game show in which her and
like gets the Hunger Games or something.
they're like suddenly in a jungle setting, and they're like, you have to go do this thing, and also there are children at the top of the building who need your help, or else. What was that?
You gotta go save the kids.
Yeah, you gotta go save the kids, or you know.
Yeah, she wants to go work for Mr. Beast.
And also you get like $500,000 or whatever if you win. Like, yeah, just Mr. Beast type shit.
Yeah, special commercial.
And she's immediately trying to be like, everybody, wait, you don't have to do this. Like they're all just like, no, we want our chance in the spotlight or whatever. And I'm like, oh. Are we trying to do like something about the entertainment industry here with this at least? And it was like, okay, well, we're just moving past that. So I was like, okay, so we didn't even really get too much into that bit of it. But
I like to mention my favorite panels from these chapters.
Yep.
Is just this one. Well, fine, I'll be really strange then. Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Oh yeah, and that was supposed to be a pun, I guess, because of how she says "well, fine." I think was the note about it.
Yeah.
I guess that's I don't. They explained it in the note, but yeah, it was still funny even without that. I think I'll be strange than she just randomly clucks. I guess I don't know.
We forgot to mention how they resolved the body swap arc or whatever the fuck that was happening.
Yeah, the body swap thing. Yeah, how did they resolve it again? It was just
they just
decided to transform. There doesn't seem to have been anything blocking them. They just did it, and it was done.
It was that because this is how we started the week. Was they ended last week with the body swap, and it's like, oh, what's gonna happen now? What shenanigans are gonna happen from this? And it was just, I think the most of it was Chibi-Usa tried to trick their parents into thinking that she was Usagi instead of Chibi-Usa, and the mom immediately was like, oh, Chibi-Usa, you're home. It's like, oh, well, let me just use my device to make her think something else real quick, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember why we had to do that.
It was to make Chibi-Usa, or to make the mom think that Chibi-Usa was Usagi.
Okay. Yeah, okay, I remember. Yeah. So she tried to do that. That didn't work. And then, meanwhile, Usagi, as tiny Usagi, stayed overnight with Mamoru, who's dying. He's like saw the doctor, saw specifically Ami's mother, and Ami's mother's like, yeah, you got a shadow on your lung. That's not good.
That's not normal.
He just went to Usagi. He was like, yeah, no, I'm fine. You know, I'll be fine. It's like, brother. He's like, I just don't want to worry her or whatever. But also stay away from me. I don't want you catching what I have.
Don't get the Rona, Usagi.
But she stayed overnight at this point because she's tiny, Usagi, and we have a awkward moment where she's like, oh, we're finally alone together in a bedroom at night. But she's also in tiny child form, so they're just like, yeah, this is let's not like make out or anything here. This is awkward. So how about we just go to sleep? It's like, also I'm dying, so maybe I should just go to sleep anyways. And like, yeah, I was very weirded out by what we were trying to do with that scene. And then later on, later on, did we have a bit where Chibiusa was also not Chibiusa, where Tuxedo Mask was also tiny child? Oh yeah, it was in a dream sequence thing where Mamoru was tiny, but also Usagi was tiny, and they were in like a dream reality for Usagi, where her dream is to live together with Mamoru, but they were in child bodies, going to school, waking up early, had her homework all done by Mamoru, and Mamoru was like, I'll do literally anything you ask me to. And then like she wakes up because she's like, no, he's too level-headed. He wouldn't do shit for me. He wouldn't do my fucking homework for me.
He wouldn't do that.
He wouldn't do my homework for me. What the fuck? I remember that bit. And yeah, there was like a whole thing. It was like, oh, maybe sleeping, once we go to sleep, we'll turn back. That didn't work. And eventually they just transformed, and then it changed the back. And it was like, okay.
All right, cool.
I don't really know what I got out of that, other than I think that was when Chibiusa was like, Mamoru is kind of my dad. Maybe I shouldn't look at him like that. I think that was all we pretty much got out of that. I don't remember. I ended last week expecting the body swapping to be much more impactful towards both of their developments, and it didn't really feel like it to me.
So this is where me accidentally reading a chapter ahead was very funny. So I was hearing you guys talk about this. I'm just in the back laughing.
Oh yeah, because you were like, you weren't sure if you read it ahead or not, and you absolutely did.
I absolutely did.
I don't know. Yeah, and also I kept having to remind myself that they were body swapped because they look exactly the same, except for like Chibiusa's pointier buns in her hair. That was pretty much the only difference. So I had to keep reminding myself that they were swapped because of this. And yeah. And then Helios was like, yeah, so my true form, and then later on was just so we had the other thing that happened this week. Several of our animal characters had human forms. This happened with Helios. This happened with all of the cats. I thought there was a different animal too. Oh, obviously the animal villains. Yes, the crows. The crows had human forms too. They look like, because they were tiny humans. They made me think like, oh, she has fairies now. What is this? And I'm like, oh wait, those are the crows. I see. Yeah, because each of the sailors had, their awakening moment, and it gave them their own personal crystal, which was like some kind of weapon or artifact or whatever, that would help them achieve their next form, I guess, or next powers. So for Ami, her crystal, what was it, like a harp or something like that? We had Mars, her thing was her crows. Her crows turned into her crystals. Makoto's was, oh, what am I blanking on Makoto's? Makoto's crystal. What was Makoto's crystal? Makoto had a crystal.
Crown thing?
Oh, yes, it was some kind of like leaf or crown thing. It was like a leaf crown that she said represented
like the oak
thunder.
leaf, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So she had that, and then Venus had what did Venus have? This is why I need to write my notes again, okay? I don't know why. I remembered this up until like an hour or two ago.
Venus had her cat boy.
Oh, her cat boy was her crystal. I remember. I see. And that scene, okay, she climbs up to the top of the tower to go save the children. Obviously, the children are not actual children. They're some kind of trap, or they're just not really there, or they're evil. She goes up there and is like, oh no, I've been tricked. How could this have happened? And then a trap door opens up beneath her, and She's about to fall, and then her cat is at top of there too, and grabs her by the paw, and is holding on to her from the ledge. Their cat is holding on to her. And I'm like, bro, what do you mean the cat's holding on to her? And then a boulder was about to hit the fucking cat. And then we ended the volume with that, and then I continued it with the next chapter. Or then not the volume, maybe it just ended the chapter. And then it continued with not resolving that immediately, and instead talked about the other sailor soldiers that have left since the last arc.
That was so weird.
So
The lesbian throuple.
yes, I had thought the point of it was that they were going to come and save Sailor V at that time. That was not the case. That we just jumped to that in the middle of that for memes, I guess. So, I mean, we got an update about them, which I'm fine with the updates about them. So their whole thing was they took Hotaru, and they all went to take care of her somewhere else. I don't remember if they specified where else, but they went somewhere else.
Bungalow on the coast.
Yeah, and Pluto was working at the observatory, or like was at the observatory at the time when the eclipse happened. Was like, there's a weird thing happening from this. That was weird. So she like sensed something was wrong. All of them know that they can't transform anymore, and they were using it as a sign that their job is done, or like that they're not needed anymore. So they're just trying to deal with raising Hotaru, who apparently is like reading, like crying and like breaking shit all the time, but is also like reading poetry and shit like that and quoting Einstein at times. So she and
our Umineko reference.
Yes, Umineko references. I did want to point out there was a point where they were like, during the eclipse, I was at the observatory. This person was racing. This person was at a violin thing or something. And I'm like, okay, but who was watching Hotaru? Who was...
I did think of that.
Who was? I'm like, Drake, where's the door?
I did think of that.
They're not good parents.
This is the sailor style of raising children.
It's
That's true. It is kind of in line with all of the other parents that we've seen. In the
true.
Look, they grew up on like far-flung planets. Close supervision isn't a huge thing.
Just like they make a point to like describe each of their roles in the development of Hotaru, and then just completely forget that one moment. I didn't think of that.
Because they were just trying to be like, this is where we were the moment the eclipse happened. And I'm like, oh, where was it? What happened to Hotaru at the time? I'm like, wait a minute.
What about your child?
Wait a minute. None of them were watching Hotaru.
And she would have been a little infant too.
God damn. So slight overlook there. It's fine. It's fine. She might have just been, maybe they got a babysitter. It's fine. Anything could have happened.
Trailer babysitter.
But eventually Hotaru, I guess, awakens again, but is not going to end the world right now. We have awakened, and some have decided we can awaken and not end the world. So everything about last arc, we don't have to worry about that now. We're awake now, and we're gonna go help Sailor Moon and all of them, and then they just go to do that. Also, I think they just immediately got their new powers. I don't think they had to deal with a whole arc like everybody else did. And then they went to go deal with it.
They had kind of like a realization that like their old roles are done. They can be part of the squad now.
Which I thought that was nice for us to like include them back in. I just kind of how do I say this? I kind of wanted more like what we got for the current group, where they each had their own kind of chapter delving into each of them more in depth, as opposed to just revolving their entire resolution around them taking care of Hotaru. But I guess I can still be fine with it from the lens of they've always been in the distance and now they can actually be a part of the squad. I guess I can accept it. I just, I thought it was cute for them to show us them trying to take care of Hotaru and immediately starting it with Hotaru just broke a bunch of shit for no reason all of a sudden. I looked away for 5 fucking minutes and she's breaking things. I thought she was just reading poetry. I guess not. She's just getting into mischief. Now that we're just all together to try to defeat the big bad, and the big bad was a lot.
Oh, wait, before we move on,
Yep.
I had like one big problem with Sailor Venus's
Yes.
little arc that I had to bring up.
Yes.
So after all the other girls get there and she's like climbing up the ladder and whatnot to quote unquote save the children.
Yep.
One of the circus people is like, hey, don't try to help her, or we're gonna kill her. And it's like, why don't you then? She's defenseless. You just brought that up. You have knives. You surrounded her with the knives, but you didn't stab her. What's up?
Listen, it's
like you threw knives to outline her silhouette. Just hit her.
I remember the knives. Yeah.
Like you're clearly trying to kill this woman.
No, they're just trying to, well, with Venus, they were trying to brainwash her into being a part of their squad, which almost worked with her. Everybody else was...
They dropped her off a cliff.
Listen, that's whatever. That's fine, but they tried brainwashing her for a bit, and then it didn't work, and then, listen. I feel like it could have... I was wondering if we were going to have another Black Lady situation where instead of Chibiusa becoming fucked up and evil, one of them was going to become fucked up and evil. And I feel like if it would be somebody,
for about 2 panels,
it'd be cool if interesting to do it if it was Sailor Venus, who used to be the main character of the series, and has felt like her role as the leader of their group is like diminishing with each arc that they deal with or whatever. I feel like that would have been interesting to explore with her, but we did not do that. So yeah. Well, and then okay, so that's Sailor V and Mercury. Ray/Mars. Mars was just hyper focused on the different ways to run the shrine, how she can be better at running the shrine. Her father got sick at some point and got confused at what religion their shrine was. I thought that was funny. There's a note about it too, something like, because he was saying like, Buddha, please save me or whatever, and then Ray's just like, Dad, Grandpa, we're a Shinto shrine, you know this, right? And like there's a note like,
it's your grandpa, not her dad.
Yeah, and I remember somebody had told her, you should just get married. If you can't afford people to help out at the shrine, just get married. It's a free servant in the shrine. And then she was like, she was just like, you know what? Maybe that could work. I never thought about that before. Just a free servant at the shrine? If I just get married? Huh, maybe. Yeah. I was like, what is going on? What? But no, the marriage arc was for Makoto, I guess, who... It's just like, I have to get married. Her thing, she got the ring, and then did she get convinced that she was married? I thought that was where I was going, and then I thought that didn't happen. What happened with Makoto's thing? What happened with Makoto's arc? Because she did not. She got the ring, and then made them try to like corrupt her dreams or whatever, but because I remember she went to a herb place and started working with that, or just talking about things with her about.
She went back to like the plant shop or herb shop or whatever it was, and it's like she talked about her like secret dreams or whatever, and then the villain's like, you're not actually working very hard to like make any of that happen though, so why don't you just be evil?
Just be fucked up and evil, yeah, just why not? I was kind of like her thing that they tried to bring up before is how she really wants to get married. So, and then the cover of the chapter looked like it was her with some random guy. So I was like, okay, so are we going to like try to convince her that she is married now? Or actually no, I'm looking at it now. Maybe I just misunderstood. It is called Jupiter's Dream. I don't think that that's Jupiter on the cover. I'm pretty sure that's just Sailor Moon and Mamoru. But I did not recognize Mamoru at first. He's got he's got an earring on. He didn't have an earring, right? Mamoru? This is just
chapter cover?
The chapter cover of 42, which is the Jupiter chapter. Chapter, not chatter. The Jupiter chapter. Jupiter Dream. And it's got, I believe that is Usagi and Mamoru on the cover, but they got like,
I think so, yeah.
They're wearing different outfits than they normally do. Like he's got an earring going on, and she's wearing a cross. I think I had saw the cover, and I remembered Makoto's dream of wanting to get married, and I didn't know if we were gonna have a whole arc about that, and it was just, why don't you just stop and become evil? Why don't you just stop? And then they try to fight that, and then yeah. I feel like it was better reading it. When I'm reading it, I kind of felt more for the characters in each of them. Trying to talk about it now, I can't exactly remember a lot of the developments that they went through, so maybe it's not as impactful as I remembered. But I remember that at the time enjoying what they were going through for like the development for them. So maybe I have to like reread them or whatever. But I remembered Sailor Venus's thing sticking out the most to me, mostly because she got 2 fucking chapters for hers. But yeah, but that's mostly because we took time for side story with Usagi, Chibi-Usa, and the Helios development shit. Because that's just all getting developed every now and then. We're stopping that story to jump back to what's the horse up to, and and what's going on with Mamoru? Is he dead yet? Not yet. He's not looking good though. What happened to Helios? I'm trying to remember. He almost died, but he's not dead, right? Chibi-Usa brought him back. And then discover that Chibi-Usa has a pink crystal. We got introduced a new crystal at the end.
He almost died. He almost gave his life to save Mamoru from the. It was like a rose that was forming.
Oh yeah, the Black Rose curse, which is going on. It was a curse that went onto Helios, which also infected Endymion by connection that they have. That he didn't even realize they had. Yeah.
They told me some sort of JoJo reference.
Basically.
Actually,
they gave him the
no
clap.
reference.
They gave him. Oh, okay. And I remember. Okay, this arc was surrounded by the golden crystal. That was the big MacGuffin this time. The golden crystal.
How original, eh?
And eventually they were just like, oh yeah, it's inside of you, Endymion. It's within you. I'm just thinking, like, is it like a kidney stone? What do you mean it's inside? They kept talking to him while he's like dying, coughing up blood, and they're like, no, I know it's inside of you. Okay, we just have to unleash it from you. And I'm just like, is this a kidney stone? What's going on? I also remember the golden crystal just suddenly coming out, and then we just moved on from that because we got our new forms, I guess, at that point, or new powers or something.
Got our second new form in this 2-volume.
Which is, it's still hard for me to distinguish the difference between the forms and the manga.
Yeah, I can't tell the difference.
I can't.
I think it's just like the thing they have in the center of their chest.
Probably. And here we got Eternal Sailor Moon eventually, who's basically everybody giving her the power to do it. They put it all in the the Holy Grail, power it up, give spirit bomb, give me your energy type deal, and then we're using this to beat the big bad.
My final form.
But the big bad here is probably the least interesting of all the big bads we've had so far. I like. I was surprised at how much I did not give a fuck about this big bad. There was like nothing for me to care about. Like, just nothing. It was just. And by the way, okay, I understand we're very formulaic with the villains that we've had. We've also been very formulaic about why the big bads hate them. They're just like, yeah, so the Moon Kingdom locked us away in like a prison planet, so we want to kill them. This has happened like several times now. I don't know. Maybe the way Moon Kingdom is evil. They just keep locking people away. I don't fucking know.
But also, this one was like they suddenly at the end are like, well, actually, my justification is, basically the Cinderella justification of, oh no, not Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty justification, where like, you're the person at the birth who tries to give a gift, but we don't like you and your type here, so you're banished. But then also there was a line at the very end where she's like, I should have been the one to marry Endymion. Like,
yep.
Yes, I was like, dig, right on cue.
How many villains?
What were you saying, Sheena?
Like, yes, he's a great father, but
what do you got for us, Sheena? What do you got?
Oh, just like commenting that she's like bootleg barrel for Chibiusa.
True. I like. How it's just we listen. Endymion's got to go. Endymion's the problem. Everybody loves Endymion too much. Okay, even his daughter, like.
I would argue it's her mother. That's the problem.
That's true. It sounds like she kicked that one the big bad this time out of the party. And they were just like, you know what? Fuck you. I will always be here. I will haunt your dreams, your nightmares. I will
literally curse your entire lineage. And they're like, no,
I think she was going to do the curse anyway. I don't think that was because she got kicked out.
Listen, I understand she probably would have, but the scene made it look like she just wanted to show up for the party and was kicked out. I understand she showed up with the darkest fucking aura imaginable, but I don't know. They just made it look like, I just wanted to come to the party. What's the problem? I kind of thought that we were going to do something a little more interesting, though, with the whole, like, the darkness will always be here with some people, okay? Like, with some people, there's always going to be some level of darkness or whatever. You gotta have, where there's light, there will be dark. It's unavoidable. But here it was just, but if you shine brighter, all the darkness is gone. So let's just get rid of that darkness, okay? Let's just get rid of it fully. There was no, like, kind of like, because I had assumed if you start that kind of thing, my assumption is you're going to try to wrap it up into, like, a whole... It's just finding a way to balance it or accept some things, but like keep things at bay or whatever. Like find a way to make peace with the darkness so that it's not like as bad of an influence or whatever. But here it was just shine brighter and then it'll go away. Which I guess is one way to view life. But
just be happy.
The Moon Kingdom is not very tolerant.
They're not. Sorry, Usagi, but your mom, she had some issues.
She was like, listen, we will not stop you from existing here if you need a place to live, but you will not bring darkness into our home. It's like, well, that's kind of my thing. I don't know.
That's my job.
I don't know what you want to happen here. And, yeah. Yeah, that was pretty much like... that we had that, and then it was like I should have been the one to marry Endymion. It's like, okay, well, Endymion's a problem here. Everybody wants to marry Endymion. This is causing several issues.
This is victim blaming.
Help it. Yeah, you're victim blaming.
Listen.
He can't help that he's the perfect father.
Listen. I was
especially with Chibiusa.
Again, I was just like, okay, well, at least. I don't know if it's appropriate to ship 9-year-old looking Chibiusa with anybody, but at least I don't want it to be her dad. If you're going to have a love interest for her, maybe have it be the fictional horse thing from the dreams. I don't know, but that also feels weird. I don't know. What are we doing with that?
That means Chibiusa is going to be the horse girl in high school.
I guess, yeah. Pretty much.
He was Lady Karzina von Liechtenstein the whole time.
True. Yeah, Naoko Takeuchi has a interesting way of writing these chapters or these arcs where in some ways I like these arcs more than the previous, and I feel like we're getting better at writing them in certain ways, and in other ways I feel like we dropped the ball completely in what we made progress on. Like we had a lot more development of the actual characters with their own dedicated chapters that are more actually focused on them than being half focused on the villain that they're fighting that chapter, which I was like, okay, well, that's nice. That's decent. But in other ways, we neglected to actually make me give a shit about the villains in any way, shape, or form. Like I just did not care about them and felt no real fear about them at this point. Because again, like usual, most of these villains were not hard for them to defeat. The only one that took a little more for them to really beat was the one that Venus was fighting, and then the big bad. Like, I was not really concerned about any of the other ones up until then.
And the big bad was literally just hit them with light repeatedly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just become eternal.
More light.
Yeah, shine brighter. Get rid of the darkness. Yeah, so when do we admit that the Moon Kingdom is probably evil and should be stopped? I don't know. I'm starting to think that the bad guys are right. It just sounds like the backstory for all of them is just they banished us, so we became evil. But it you know, they're trying to say like we banished them because they were evil, but I don't know. It's been multiple things at this point. A lot of things are evil and getting banished to different areas. I don't know.
I mean, it could be an unreliable narrator situation, but
we get 2 volumes left, okay? And these 2 volumes is when we recognize that the Moon Kingdom is actually evil. It's been evil the whole time, and we got to tear it down. We got to go to the 30th century and defeat our mom. That's what we have to do. That's the next villainess.
I hope the big bad for the next 2 volumes is Usagi graduating high school.
Minako.
We'll make the grade somehow.
In my head, it's like in the 30th
Final exams.
In the 30th century, Prince Endymion has passed away, and so Princess Serenity has decided to steal the Endymion of the past, and so this is the new villain. I
will point out that now that we have that Eternal Sailor Moon form, they did very specifically say that's the strongest thing. That's not just Queen Serenity.
No, that's
so
true.
we're totally not getting a new form next.
Totally not.
No. Next
So we're
time
totally not getting Usagi taking over all of Japan and becoming their ruler.
Hey, listen.
And then also struggling to graduate high school.
That's the
like
real
in real
struggle.
life.
That's the real struggle, okay? Listen, those tests are hard. I don't know. It's hard for her to wake up on time. You want her to pass the test too? That's a lot. Oh,
This is what actually happened to Shinzo Abe.
I didn't catch what you said. I just heard Shinzo Abe at the end.
This is
Makoto made a homemade shotgun. And...
Whoa. Jesus. All right, so how did we feel about this arc?
Hated it.
Hated it? How would you rank?
Honestly, honestly my least favorite so far, just because like it had some good parts, had the sailor stuff, the more like actual characterization of them, had the return of the other outer planets, but then the lows of it is just like we've had this over and over again. We're just repeating the same stuff in the same exact time frame too. Like it's not just that it's villain of the week. It's the same the same kind of archetypes, the same formulaic villains, the same exact 2-volume structure. I'm just getting real tired of it, which is sad because I do like the characters. I like the main characters, but
Yeah.
It feels like the only actual character development that happened was like with the people raising the child again and Chibiusa not thirsting after her dad.
Yeah, that's pretty much yeah.
Everybody else was just kind of reaffirming the thing they had said 2 chapters before.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly, I think the main problem with Naoko Takeuchi's writing is she keeps trying to make it all within 3 volumes with her arcs.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Because it's not even, it's like pretty much exactly the same amount of time for every single arc.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's about.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
Like that she's able to fit it all in the exact same amount of time every time. On the other hand, I'm tired of it.
Part of me wonders if, like, because her original arc was 3 volumes and people liked that, if she just kept it that size because it seemed like that worked for the first arc, so we'll just keep doing it. But I don't know. I feel like we would have been able to write a more interesting arc way more if we had let it go longer. But I don't know. Maybe it would have overstayed its welcome, but it depends.
Would think that.
Yeah.
I've talked about this a little bit last week. This is absolutely the worst arc of the anime.
Oh, okay.
Ugh.
By a significant margin.
What do you mean by that? I'm scared.
Anime,
Okay.
In the anime, having everything so spread out sidesteps a lot of the issues that you guys have been talking about, with not getting to know the Sailor Guardians all that much, and the pacing of everything feeling so like fast. It does not feel fast when it's 46 episodes.
Right.
Yikes.
Right.
Are there any anime exclusive characters for this arc? Please say yes.
A lot of
The
silence.
Monsters of the Week.
Okay.
Those aren't anime exclusive.
No, they are.
Okay.
They're
good.
Again, the structure for Sailor Moon in the anime is very much like a more typical episodic TV show structure.
Right.
Of like, there's just a monster of the week, and the Sailor Guardians have to go and defeat this monster, and then there's some vague like implication, or the villains do something, or what have you. Getting to know them in that way means you don't have the same problem of like, this arc is the first time that we've gotten real context for their characters. It's not the first time you have context for these characters in the anime.
Yeah.
And in fact, they are written significantly worse in this season.
Okay.
They are basically completely flattened into being boy obsessed. And
what? Oh no.
That's about their entire character.
Including the lesbians?
They don't really show up.
No!
Damn. Yeah, they're too busy taking care of Hotaru.
Yeah, I do not care for season 4 of Sailor Moon.
Say that.
Damn.
Oh, wait, hold on. It just occurred to me. How long is Sailor Moon just in like total?
Well,
the anime or the manga?
The first season of the anime.
The anime is 200 episodes and 3 movies.
Yeah, the first season is 46 episodes, but yeah, it's in total like
That's basically the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Look.
And they had the newer movies in the last couple of years, right? Yeah.
The first 3 seasons of Sailor Moon are some of probably my favorite anime that I've ever watched.
So
the 4th season is not great,
So
and it's based off this arc. The flip side of it is that I had a way better time with the manga version of this arc.
interesting. That's very interesting then. That more so means we'll have a miserable time when we get to this arc of the anime.
Have fun.
Oh boy.
Wait,
So
how much of the anime
I'll
are you
be
planning to watch?
well, so I mean, that's a question I'll have to figure out whenever we decide to put that on the list for anime stuff, which, you know, we'll figure that out. But because my question is, how much of the manga has actually been adapted in the anime? Like, have they covered all of the arcs in the animes, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty comparable. There are some major changes. Like I talked about last week, Hotaru just isn't a robot at all.
Yeah.
Um,
Which honestly, I like it in concept because it was like also Naoko Takeuchi's original idea for Mercury, and she wanted to do that, but also it didn't really have that big of an impact on her story, so I can like accept that to a degree. So yeah.
yeah,
So-
it's a very different take on the character, and definitely a different take on her dad.
Yeah. Okay.
So this one, I might be misremembering, and I'm sorry if I am, but I don't believe the villains ended up being future Sailor Guardians. They were just villains.
I don't know why this even happened here. I don't even understand it. I don't know why. But so my follow-up question with the anime, how much of the anime would we have to watch to cover all of the arcs that are in the manga?
Oh, full thing.
The full fucking thing? Are you fucking serious?
100%.
Bruh.
Early.
I thought it was gonna be like the first 2 seasons maybe covered it, and then they do like original stuff, bro.
No.
Jesus.
No.
This is Dragon Ball.
The first arc is basically stretched out and expanded upon to create the first season of the anime.
Okay. I feel like in some ways. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Then there's sort of I guess I'll say not a filler arc, an anime only arc that takes place between the first arc of the manga and the second arc of the manga. So everything with Chibiusa and all of that. Then the third arc, which is everything with Hotaru and the lesbians, that's season 3. Dead Moon. Sorry. The cousins. Dead Moon Circus arc, that's season 4, and from what I have heard, the 5th season of the anime is significantly different to the ending of the manga.
Okay.
I don't know what that means exactly. I still have to actually finish watching the last season.
Okay.
But
so I feel like in some ways, like looking at we're reading 12 volumes, and then looking at the fact that the anime is like 200 something episodes plus movies or whatever. It's like, okay, that's a little intimidating, but maybe in certain ways I will appreciate that more, depending on how they handle it. So I am still excited to watch the Sailor Moon anime in that respect, but also
I think at least give it the first season.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, that was probably what we were gonna do anyways. But
yeah. If you watch the first season and you're like, "No, I'm good," then I don't understand you, frankly. But
you don't understand us until we get to the horse season. Then you're like, "Okay, now I understand you."
You drop it at the horse season, I get it.
This was the one thing I saw at some point in the past week. I had like tried looking up something related to Helios, and I ended up in a Reddit thread that was like, this fucking horse, please tell me this horse is gone in like 2 chapters. And the comments are like, oh no, how do we tell him this is the whole fucking arc? How do we tell him the whole arc is the horse? How do we tell him? I'm like, oh no.
You use the kisses
Yeah,
the
they
horse.
have AirPods in.
Like that whole thread was just them saying like, yeah, the horse arc is like the worst one, and I'm like, oh no, oh no. Oh, but still, I don't know. Now Takeuchi has an interesting way of still keeping me wanting to read, despite all the criticisms that I have. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm just in it for the art still, or if I'm still in it for the the sailor characters and what they like, hoping that they'll be developed more in the manga. Like, I don't hate my experience fully. I'm just kind of annoyed in ways. And where it felt like if there's ways we could have adjusted these things a bit, and instead I have a whole bunch of nitpicks that make it sound like I hate this whole fucking thing, but I don't really. I don't hate it. I just like, it's one of those things where like I'm enjoying it, I think, not in the intended way I should be enjoying it, if this makes sense. Like, I feel like I'm supposed to get enjoyment reading this for these guardians and their struggle against the big bad evil forces. I'm supposed to be cheering for them every time they do their like moves or whatever. I feel like I won't really be doing that until I'm watching it in anime form, where I can actually see the fights happening. And here I'm instead just enjoying the nice art that they're using, especially again in this arc. There was a lot of cool action shots towards the end that I really liked, but other than that kind of stuff, I was just like, story-wise, I'm like, there's a lot of explanation in some of these pages for a concept that I've already been told about like a couple pages ago, and this is taking up more space to explain this again. There's a lot of repeating of some explanations, and little nitpicks, but again, I don't hate the Sailor Moon manga. It's just, I feel like we could have cleaned some things up, but also I don't know if this is just of the times with how manga writing was back then. I don't exactly know. I'm not too familiar with a lot of manga from the 90s or whatever, but yeah. This would be from the 90s specifically, right? This would be, or the 80s? Yeah, this is 90s. 91 to 97.
This is 90s.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know if that's just how manga was back then. This is the type of, they try to wrap up their arcs pretty quickly, and they try to focus them more on the villain of the week, even in manga form. I don't know. Maybe that was just how it was then. But again, I feel like in ways I'll enjoy it more in the anime form. But as you explained, in other ways I probably will not enjoy it in the anime form. But it will depend. I don't know.
If
I'm
you're talking about
nervous
this
about
arc specifically.
For this arc specifically, okay. And you said this arc is like season 4?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the 4th season of the anime.
Okay. All right.
And also they kind of redo like Nehelenia at the very beginning of season 5.
Right.
Which I think is really funny, and also honestly it's a lot better when they redo it. But you know.
So here's my question to the squad. If you were to rank the arcs we've had so far, where would you put them? So we've had the Dark Kingdom arc, which was the initial meeting the Sailor Guardians and then dealing with the Queen Metalia. We had the Black Moon arc afterwards, which was, how do I distinguish this from the other one? More of the same, tiny bit of development towards the characters through like one-off lines. And then Chibi-Usa was introduced. Yeah, so that's the arc with Chibi-Usa, and then she became fucked up evil Black Lady, and then we wrapped that up by just banishing the evil. And then we had afterwards the Infinity arc, where now we're having an entire new district of the town appear, which is all fucked up and evil. And then we introduce the outer sailor soldiers. So we have all them. And then we have this arc, which is the Dead Moon Circus, the Dream arc, whatever, which obviously you'll know what that's about because we just read it. So where would we rank these 4 arcs, I think? Where would we rank them? I want to say for me, I would probably rank Infinity at the top, followed by oh, this is I don't know. Some of these I equally was like, whatever. But I don't know. Maybe it'd be like Infinity, then the Dark Kingdom arc, like the original Sailor Moon bit. So Infinity, and then the initial Sailor Moon stuff, then Black Moon, and then the Dream arc. Maybe? I don't know if I would actually. Do I hate this arc the worst? I don't know if I hate this arc the worst. It would probably be Dream. No, I'm sorry. It'd probably be Infinity, then Sailor Moon, then Dream, then Black Moon, probably. Or maybe I would put Dream. I don't know. I think maybe it's easier if I just say what's my favorite arc and then what's my least favorite arc. Because my favorite arc is the Infinity arc, I think. My least favorite would probably be maybe it's the initial. I think the initial arc might be my least favorite. Because we just rushed through everything with that first one. Yeah, I think those would be my answers. I like the Infinity arc the most, and then was not a big fan of the initial Dark Kingdom arc, maybe.
Move aside, fake hater. Clearly, the first arc was the best, and it's been downhill from here. And now we're at the bottom.
Really? Okay, all right.
Because like the second arc was.
She really hated Haruka and Michiru.
Damn, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
I mean, you said it was downhill the whole time.
It's very homophobic.
Because the arc,
I'm sorry. I'll stop.
Arc 2 was Chibiusa, right?
Yeah. Chibiusa was introduced.
So it's been all downhill from the
Damn.
No, because like I liked the Sailor Soldiers. It was very rushed at the beginning, but it was still at least like a foundation. This is what we're getting into, and then ever since then, it's just been the same formula every time. Just throw in some lesbians sometimes, but like and this was just also just a culmination of other things as well. As the designs weren't good. At least in the previous ones, the designs were great. Chibiusa's evil form is still my favorite design in this entire thing. But like the designs weren't good. The setting didn't make sense. Just a lot of it just did not really mesh, and it's just a culmination of all these previous arcs doing the same stuff. So, yeah.
I did want to also mention one of the reasons why I like the Infinity arc is because we established a new setting nearby, tried to develop it more in depth. Here we also tried that, but it was just we have the Juban district, which is immediately taken over by the Dead Moon Circus, and then you barely get to know what Juban is as a setting itself normally, and then you're just like, okay, well, even the circus, you just know that they keep going in the circus, so you don't even really see the circus setting too much. So I'm just like,
it's just kind of a little bit. It's just a little too many things going on at one time.
Yeah.
Without necessarily letting any one of them develop and get the same amount of focus. With the trade-off being that you actually get focus on the Sailor Guardians.
Yeah. What about you, Galaxy? What was your favorite and least favorite arcs from what we've read so far?
I would probably put Infinity at number 1 as well.
Just
because I like that version of that arc a lot. It's the one where they really start to change things a little bit more in the anime and like the manga version of things. It's different, but I like that both exist.
Right.
I would put probably the first arc and the Dead Moon Circus arc on like the same level. Their problems are kind of different but equal to me. And I would put Chibiusa's introductory arc as my least favorite.
Okay. All right.
Based.
Aztec, what do you think?
Honestly, I've got about the same take as Galaxy here.
Okay.
Mine had nothing to do with Chibiusa and just more like the general time travel was bad, but
Coward, but also based.
Yeah, the time travel was listen, it's fine.
I actually have another question with the time travel. I know this is stupid to
What's your
now, but I have a question.
Yeah. What's your question?
Okay, so Chibiusa is like 900 years old, right?
Yes.
yeah.
Right.
You're going to like middle school in like the present time.
Yep.
Shouldn't she be like out of college or something at this point? Or like have like 50 bachelors at this point?
Yeah,
Listen.
shouldn't she be like acing all of this stuff? Like,
Listen, do you think
well, she got the Usagi genes.
you think
Yeah.
do you think
she's
Serenity
Usagi's
was
daughter.
I don't feel like Serenity was really making her study. I don't know.
She got the
You're
Usagi
like
genes.
800
Okay.
years.
Do they
She
have
got the
schools?
Usagi genes and Usagi as a parent.
Do they have schools up in the Moon Kingdom?
That's a double whammy.
Oh.
Her school life is fucked.
Okay, so Aztec, you're basically going with Infinity is the best, and the Chibiusa arc is the worst as well.
I'm stronger on the worst than the best, but yeah.
Okay. And then Shino, what about you? Favorite arc versus least favorite arc currently?
I feel like I'm more with Arumia. Like it just kind of started going downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like the execution in the beginning was not great, but I feel like at that point the concepts were very fresh.
That's
and stuff.
true.
I was like, oh, it's still like very exciting. But by the time we got to Infinity, I was like, I literally don't know who the villains are. Like, I don't care. Like the outer fantasy, like I really like the like sailor, like characters and like that. But like the villains, like literally, who are you? Like, moving on.
I was trying to think to myself.
You want Mamoru too? Who cares?
Who doesn't want Mamoru? Come on, at this point. I was trying to think to myself at some point. I was like, maybe I would have enjoyed this series more doing the villains of the week if we had like a core big bad that was like making these villains of the week that was there throughout the entirety of it, and we got to develop him and why he's doing that more. But instead, it was trying to establish
he also
an entire.
Wants to marry Mamoru.
Which, listen.
Obviously, this needed Rita Repulsa.
The first
I'm just saying, like, listen, every time we wanted to establish a brand new set of villains and have them have a brand new, like, background, and the background was always the fucking same. Listen.
I was going to say brand new in finger quotes, but.
It's always the same, you know? It was just a different crystal color getting involved here. Like, I don't know. Shadow, what about you? Favorite versus least favorite arc so far?
Alright, y'all bunch of cowards. Okay, fourth arc, 0-10, no clowns.
Damn.
True.
No clown. Okay, but what was your favorite arc?
I think I'm Team Ari on this one. Kinda. The first arc's my favorite, but then it's like third, then second.
Okay, all right. Okay. I can see what you guys are saying about the first arc, where, like, for me, I think my main problem with the first arc was more so just how rushed we were with introducing our sailor characters and then not really developing them or whatever for the squad members. I think that's the part that really disappointed me about the beginning, but still, like you guys are saying, the original concepts being introduced to us and like the hope for what this can be, and then like the stuff with Endymion when we first experienced it, like, was cool. And then when we just kept bringing up Endymion as like the key for everything, I was like, oh, it's all Endymion. He's the reason why everybody's wants to be the villain or whatever. Yeah, whatever. yeah, I can see what you guys are saying. But yeah,
I will add though, if Arc 3 was instead Arc 1, it was written in that order, then yeah, Arc 3 would be my favorite then.
if Arc 3 was first in the series, you're saying?
Yeah. Yes.
If the formula hadn't been played out already.
You know, I could see that. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I was trying to think if I maybe would have enjoyed this arc more if it was the first arc we experienced. Maybe if you reworked it in certain ways. Because again, the only main thing that I really enjoyed about this arc is, well, one, the art still, and two, was taking the longer chapters to dive into the Sailor characters' developments and like trying to go through them more. That was like the thing that I really liked about this arc, especially, and then everything else about it just kind of fell on its face. So I was just like, maybe that section of it, I just wanted that, but applied earlier, and then I would have enjoyed that more. Yeah. I was like glad that we got that at least, but I don't understand why it took until now to do it when we're about to end the series. I'm glad it happened though, but yeah. Interesting times though, and now apparently we just we had the whole thing last arc trying to establish that Hotaru is the key to everything dying. We cannot let her reawaken, and now she's just awake again, and this isn't a problem anymore.
And now she's just going back to school with.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Listen,
I do like Hotaru though. I think she's probably one of my favorite ones. I just like the concept.
Yeah,
it's cool. Junie.
I think it's just one of those things where it's like Naoko Takeuchi clearly was like, I need to get these characters to do this thing or be involved in this thing, and she did not know the proper way in certain ways to write it so that the way we get there is like satisfying to the reader. It's just like all right, this is happening now. We're just doing this to cause this to happen. Because I was just like, okay, we want to bring back that whole squad and make them a part of the team. I don't got a problem with them doing that. I have a problem with the whole Hotaru situation with that. That was the whole point of the last arc's ending thing, was Hotaru will end the world if she awakens, and then we have to not let that happen, and we've just ignored this now for reasons of, well, we have these casts and we want them to be a part of the squad. And again, I'm fine with that, but it's just, and it was the same for Chibiusa being there. Chibiusa being introduced to the story as a whole, well, I want to give a kid to Sailor Moon and Endymion, but I don't want to age them up right now, so we'll just send her from the future, and then we'll just ignore all the things that you could do with time travel in order to do this. And it's like, okay, well, you're doing things. I understand why you're doing these things. I would like you to think more about why you're doing these things, though, or how to implement these things, I guess. I don't know. I feel like I don't want to say that Naoko Takeuchi is a bad writer. I think Naoko Takeuchi at this time was a very inexperienced writer in some ways.
It's very much a first writing project with the added pressures of
the editors. Yeah, the editors telling her, do this, don't do that. We have to have new merch, so introduce these new things here. Yeah.
And also they literally being one of the most popular mangas ever.
Yeah.
just a little pressure for honor.
So we're all ready to buy some Helios merch, right? We're all gonna go out and buy some I'm assuming there is Helios merch.
Not to.
Yeah, you don't understand. Karazina of Liechtenstein already bought them all.
Oh, true. We gotta get the was it the bell that you use to summon him? We gotta get the little bell that Chibiusa's got. They're all sold out? Oh, okay, well. It's not hard to buy a bell. We can find some other bell. It's fine.
We'd also get Bell the movie.
That's I don't know if you want to get Bell the movie. Listen.
You don't.
What else do we have here? Is there anything else that we need to discuss about this week? Views Hunter in the chat just sent a message as I said that. I can only imagine how much of a killin' they made on merch sales. They're probably making a shit ton to this day. I'd imagine. It's never gonna stop. They gotta
and I
keep
hope
making
she's
the money.
getting bad royalties from them.
Oh, she's getting all the royalties. Do you think they sell Dead Moon Circus merch? Do you think they sell clowns as a part of this merch? Wait, hold on.
Clowns, no.
This is an important question.
What?
This is an important question. With the anime, were there clowns in the anime?
Absolutely the fuck not.
What?
Yeah, I was talking to Spaghetti about this right before we came on, and she gave me the picture I posted in Anime Book Club a little bit ago. Like no, it's exactly what we read, pretty much. Like,
Bruh.
no.
Wonder they said they get the clouds. I wanted my big climactic
Do I
fight.
have the webcomic for you?
I wanted my big climactic fight in the circus tent. All right, with elephants and flaming rings and everything. I had it in my head. I was like, this is gonna be amazing if we do this. And then it was just like 4 Amazonians and then like a fish and a tiger, who
quote unquote Amazonians.
like. And by the way, I'm still confused. Why did we have the when we introduced the fish, the tiger, and the hawk turning into their villains? Why did we have the tiger say, "I want to be an artist"? What?
I mean, the entire arc was about their dreams, right?
Sure, but he was the only one who had a dream of that squad, and then I don't remember that doing anything.
Birds and fish aren't exactly known for their higher thinking abilities.
Oh, okay,
That
all
was
right.
establishing dominance as being the leader of the group.
I see.
It's a very
Oh.
metatextual thing.
True. Real quick, thank you so much, Solar Protag, for the follow. Thank you so much. What were you saying?
Hey, Sol. If you want a final climactic battle
Whoa,
of clowns
whoa.
in a circus,
I was about to
this
say.
is when-
All right, clowns at a
Vote
circus.
D. Gray Man on manga reading.
Is D. Gray Man done?
No.
We had D. Gray Man come up in another server I'm in, and I brought up you because I'm just like, oh yeah, I have a friend in my book club who's like obsessed with D. Gray Man, and is like, it's still going, because they were just like, this is still going? I didn't fucking know. I'm like, yeah.
New chapter on the 25th of this month. I'm excited.
Oh boy. Magetti in YouTube chat said Dead Moon Circus did nothing wrong. I mean,
She is wrong.
Except they fucking sucked.
I mean, I feel like they didn't do anything. Is my problem. I don't know. Well, listen, they didn't really. I think so. Again, it's still very funny. The Dead Moon Circus laid multiple very obvious traps, and or the sailor soldiers just willingly walked into their shit. Like Ray went into the mysterious mirror maze by herself when they know that this is where the bad people are for the arc.
Yeah, hasn't she seen Us?
Like, true. She just goes in there. It's like, oh no, now I'm fighting my inner mirror demons here. What is going on? Like, I don't listen. Oh yeah, that was the other thing too. The big bad, they fought him through a mirror, and I was getting very confused about if we were winning or not. What was supposed to be real? What was supposed to be dream mirror shenanigans? We won in the end.
Yeah, and Chihusa and Hotaru get stuck in like a glass shard or something.
Yeah. I was like, are we winning? Have we won? When do we? And then we just become eternal, and then we win. But again, this is definitely the final form. We're told there will not be a super eternal Sailor Moon. This will not happen. Views Hunter said, gonna be honest, the antagonists have mostly been unentities for me. It's mostly the characters / emotional conflicts that kept me hooked. I mean, yeah, they're mostly not non-entities that
No, 100%.
They're either non-entities or their only personality trait is I want to marry Endymion.
Or both.
Here they tried to do a whole I just wanted to go to the Moon Kingdom party and they wouldn't let me in. But looking like
That's not true. There was also I'm going to kill my daughter for God.
That's true. This happens. So I think I remembered one of the arcs. The bad guys had an offhand comment about why they were motivated to do it, which was the fact that the Moon Kingdom live forever is not natural, and we will restore the natural order of things. And then we just dropped that. It didn't really like become a big development for what was going on in that arc. It was just an offhand comment they made for why they also hate the Moon Kingdom. I don't even remember which arc this was for. I think this was for the time travel arc.
I think this was the time travel arc, yes.
Yeah. Because they were just like, because I remember they also had their person go on TV and try to manipulate people, be like, yeah, the White Moon Kingdom, okay, they're very evil. You have to find the Silver Crystal. You have to find Sailor Moon. Capture them for me. They live forever. We have to kill them or some shit. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I still don't hate Sailor Moon. I know it sounds like we're complaining a lot, but I don't really hate the series. I think the only real thing, other than all the story issues that we have, I think an issue I have with the readings is sometimes I will feel like the reading is dragging on for me, in certain ways. I don't know if that's because of the typesetting, though. I don't know if that's because of the typesetting, because the typesetting is a big factor in it, I think. Or I'm just like,
yeah, it's not the best.
It's not good. It's formatted like shit, and especially earlier in this, it was even worse. Where some names were like vertically written for each letter, and I'm like, you're gonna make my brain have to process this shit character by character for this. It's a whole thing, and the other bit is just, I don't know. I think a big factor in this is also the length of each chapter. Each of the chapters in this is like, feels longer than the previous stuff that we've read for book club, which is fine.
It's a good chunk. It's like 60 pages.
Yeah, I mean, it's
50,
fine.
60.
It's fine given the overall length of the volume, I think, because we'll have like less chapters to read, but still you can feel that, because the original manga was originally 19 volumes, I think, and then this is 12 volumes because it was trying to like combine some of them. It's supposed to be a more standard size for them, but even then I don't know if I think a big factor in it is also that there's a lot of exposition on a lot of pages because they're still going with the villain of the week formula. They have to establish a lot of stuff of what's going on with a lot of text in each of these pages. Which can be fine, but it was taking me a while to read some of these things. I would be like, all right, let me read a couple chapters before I go to bed, and then I'll read like one and be like, all right, I am drained. I'm going to bed. And I'm like, all right, well, and then I'll just continue to read the next day and be like, all right, well, I don't remember that last chapter now because I did it right before bed and it was only one chapter and it was a lot. But like, again, it's a mixture of things that don't make me hate it. It just makes me mildly annoyed, and I don't know what it is. But I still enjoyed the art. I think that's the main thing.
I think it's possibly also like because so much of it feels like we're rehashing things, or we're just coming up with some new thing that'll be, very insular to this arc. Like, oh, Elysian is this thing you've never heard of, or that surrounds the Earth, and we've always protected Endymion, and it's like I don't care what you say, horse boy, because I know this isn't going to matter, and I know it's just random lore that we're coming up. I go back to sleep. Just close your eyes.
Damn.
Sweet prince. Go to sleep forever.
Damn, brutal.
To me, that's also one of the reasons, why it feels kind of dragging, is because it's just like
part like sometimes it'd be like, okay, I can skip these couple panels, like because they're just gonna say the same thing. You need the MacGuffin. That's the different crystal color. It's the big bad that we banished from the moon years ago to a different moon. Now they're fucked up and eviler and trying to kill us again. Also, one of them probably wants to marry Endymion, and now we're gonna have like 4 of them trying to target each of you one by one. And then you're just gonna combine your powers to do a big shine brighter, defeat the big bad. And like, So I'll say to myself, maybe I can skip these pages because it's just rehashing the same exposition I've already read. But then I'm like, if I do, I'm going to miss the one time where they're like trying to insert extra things for this arc. And they almost never did. It was always like maybe a throwaway line about something. And then it was like, didn't matter later. Yeah. Yeah. Of the times of the Naoko Takeuchi's early days as a writer, I think. So it's probably formulaic of like 90s villain of the week style stories mixed with Naoko Takeuchi's early days writing, and then also because we've known from the past afterwards, which by the way I'm still missing the afterwards. Okay, I wish we still had afterwards again because those were nice little bits of insight into their process. We still have the understanding that she is suffering when it comes to manga deadlines for this, even though I'm assuming this was a monthly release. I'm assuming that. And yeah, I don't know if the monthly manga release format also has an impact when it comes to the writing style of these kind of stories. Like if you're working on it for a whole month, or working on it for that 1 month's release, if that impacts how you go about writing them, perhaps to get them towards this style. That plus the editors saying, okay, you got to end this in 3 volumes or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, but then again, I keep saying they plan to end in 3 volumes, but it's really only 3 volumes in this version of it, because the original was, I'm sorry, I might have said 19 earlier. The original volume was 18 volumes. So I don't know if that meant it was 4 volumes instead of 3, though. But it sounds like it was like an exact amount of volumes, and then we wrapped that up. So yeah. All right. Well, that was the Dead Moon Circus arc. Do you have any final comments to say about the Dead Moon Circus arc?
You know why you said 19?
Why did I say 19?
Because that's originally how long Doridoro was going to be.
Oh, maybe. That is Dorohedoro, spelled Sailor Moon. Anyways, Dead Moon Circus arc. Any other final thoughts as we wrap this up? Things
How
we might.
dare you not give me clowns?
Yeah, that's true.
This is the first time they didn't like lead into the next arc before we started reading it.
I was surprised. That's
surprised. True. Yeah.
It also
I just have no idea what's next week.
It also reminded me I had no fucking idea where we were going with this, other than maybe everybody's just lives together now. We have 2 volumes left. We don't have enough for the standard 3 volume arc, so are we going to introduce a new big bad, or is one of our existing characters going to become the big bad? I don't know.
I wasn't joking. I'm genuinely hoping it's just Usagi struggling through high school.
Yeah, like obviously it's not going to be that. Like they wouldn't do that, but I would love it.
Clip this for
if
next
it was
week.
Just two volumes of slice of life and the horrors of high school.
We gotta clip this.
Give me that.
Clip this for next week.
Give me that, and I'll be the peak cinema.
You know what?
Image.
What if for the next 2 volumes it's everything we've wanted? Okay, it's got slice of life. It's got clowns. It's got
clowns.
It's got development for each of the characters. It's got more lesbians. It's got Endymion
characters in high school, but it's like Degrassi High School.
Usagi marries
What
Endymion.
I'm unfortunately actually expecting is the exact same goddamn villain setup we've had 4 times in a row.
But it's gonna be even shorter.
This is my dream, though.
Your dream.
Okay, we're talking about dreams. This is my dream. Okay?
So,
slice of life, or else.
Hey, as we all know, the Dead Moon Circus, they want to hear about your dreams so they can twist it, okay? Make it fucked up and evil. They use it as a weakness. You want clowns? Oh, you want clowns? Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be slice of life, but it's all from Chibi Usa's point of view.
Oh no. Chibi Usa becomes a clown. She goes to clown college. Oh no. All right.
Got the hair for it.
So
look, as explained, okay, she should have a bachelor in everything, including clown school.
Oh boy. Beginning in YouTube said, "We love the Dead Moon Circus." Is this true? Who's this we? Who's we? Who's the royal we?
Get the whole
literally just her.
Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot of Bread that likes
You guys
the
got some interesting takes I've learned recently.
The red text.
yeah the bread text. Yes. All right. So I would ask what we want from the next arc, but we pretty much already said it, I guess. So, I am both interested because I have no clue what's going to happen, but also terrified because we only have 2 volumes to cover whatever we're going to do next. So, good luck.
Can I?
Yeah.
No, I'll save that for next week.
Yeah, save it for next time, okay? Because next week is going to be the last week that we talk about Sailor Moon. We will be done with it. And then we will decide what we will be checking out next. So, I was going to mention something. Oh, yeah. There was a weird phenomenon that happened, which I mentioned in the book club chat. If you're listening to this and you watch our VODs on YouTube, so typically what happens with our book club VODs is the first episode will get the most views, and then the final episode will get some, like, either the most or second to most views. Those are typically the most viewed episodes, usually. We've had an interesting phenomenon happen here where the last episode that we did had, like, 3, almost 4 times the views of all the other episodes, including the first episode of our Sailor Moon discussion. I don't know if that's the power of Sailor Uranus, who's on the cover. I can only assume that's why, because she's on the thumbnail, so maybe that's it. I don't know if people are specifically searching for volume 7 and 8 of Sailor Moon. But that was an interesting phenomenon. We'll see if the same thing happens here with Hotaru here on the cover. Okay, Hotaru is here.
This too is Yuri.
I mean, yeah. So, that's it for that. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming to hang out for another exciting week of the Anime Book Club. If you are a fan of this discussion, you enjoyed it, and you want to listen to it some more, make sure you're following on whatever you're listening on, either YouTube, Twitch, or Kick. That's where we do the discussions every week, Thursdays at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. And if you're somebody who wants to be a part of those discussions or just wants to be a part of the book club readings and like internal discussions that we have in general, as opposed to being on the live show with us, you can join discord.wolfborg.com, where we will be coordinating all this stuff, and you can be a part of the book club yourself. You can grab yourself the role, and you can be a part of the vote that we're going to be coming up with. We will also be doing, we just finished up watching the first season of the Rosen Maiden anime, because we read that manga, and the wheel is decided. Next week we're going to start the new game, the first season of New Game. It's my time, okay? It's my time. Let's fucking go. So we're going to watch all of the first season of New Game, and then we'll spin the wheel and see what else we get after that. So if you're somebody who's interested in being there for those watch parties, that'll be every Tuesday at 8 o'clock. We're probably going to watch 6 episodes a week. That seems to be a pretty good size for us to get that done. So we'll be done with that in 2 weeks then. So, so if you're interested in that, join the Discord. We're going to be watching that Tuesday. So thanks so much, everybody, for coming to hang out. We're going to wrap this up for this week. Let's see who is alive for us to raid into here. Let's see here. We will raid. Okay, Tricker Sweets is doing Metroid Zero Mission. Go say hi to Rudy. Tell her I said hi. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, sailor soldiers. Goodbye. Goodbye. Get out. Get out.
Oh, okay.